commercial, they stop.
And public use.
Okay. Woo-hoo. Order. All right, I'd like to call this planning commission meeting to order for the date of Wednesday, August 28, 2019. Say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Janet Prentice here.
Lee Freilich here.
Cynthia Browning here.
Lynn Jorgensen here.
Forrest Genie here.
Okay. So, for our agenda today, we have some discussion items. First is to discuss the land use code 1028-230, accessory buildings and accessory uses, general requirements.
In our work meeting, the no shipping containers, cart J, section J, no shipping containers, cargo containers, shipping crate, box trailer, similar piece of equipment or object shall not be used as an accessory building unless said container meets the requirements of this section. We were going to copy and paste the unless it is like the house.
Okay.
In color and in design.
Subsection F.
Yeah.
Yeah, number F has to be a similar architectural style.
But leave F where it is.
Yeah, F is where it describes it, but we need to do that, add it to J also.
Again, okay.
Just copy and paste.
Copy and paste it.
My only thought on that is that it is technically changing the code, because if you add that to the end, so we would have to do a hearing,
Oh.
so.
That would be okay.
Yeah.
As long as
So, I mean,
we-
I'm fine doing that, it's just we'll need to have a hearing to do it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. You comfortable with it?
I don't have a problem with it.
I welcome that. We need to see
Everybody
how
cool
people
with that?
feel about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So do you
I mean,
want,
it's already in there, we're just.
I know, but
We
bring
want
it
to
out in
make
the
sure
light
that
and
it's stressed.
shake it
Right.
around a little bit.
This would stress it.
Yeah.
So I'm saying we actually have a problem with it. And that was about it on that, wasn't it?
I think that was all, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing we didn't identify in that is 20 foot, 40 foot doesn't matter to us, you know, so.
But a tractor trailer is still on wheels, shouldn't count. That shouldn't go on.
But cargo containers
We did discuss size, and I don't think we ever.
I don't think you ever decided it either.
No,
I don't know what your feelings are, if you want to do anything about it, I'm just reminding you, Joe.
Well, 20 footers under the 200 square foot limit,
I think we should stay
but
at the
a lot of
200
people are
square
putting
foot.
two 20 footers together. So, I think it needs to have some teeth in it and some clarification, this is just my opinion here.
And if they're 40 feet long and they're stucco to match their house, do we care? You know, I mean, those are all
Right.
considerations, it's, you know.
Well, they can't, can they electrify it or put any kind of,
Well, if they have a permit, they can do whatever they want, I suppose. I'm just saying that, you know, we should consider identifying it. The thing that's, I think, wrong with what we have right now is there's enough confusion on the way it's written. I just think that we clean up the way it's written. And that's what's the other thing that's come up is, you know, the old administration said 20 footers are okay, but not 40 footers. But it's not written anywhere. But that was the practice they were doing. And I just think I'd like to have a little clarity to where we know without a doubt, here's what we can do, here's what we can't do, and that's all. Just so.
The language that they had in that ordinance in 2010 talks specifically about the 20 footers.
Tell them how it reads then.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to that and where that was removed, and I haven't been able to find when that was removed from the code. But the code that they passed in 2010 talked about it having to be painted, and if it was 20 feet, the 20 footers only had to be painted. And so anything above that would require a building permit because it was over the 200 square feet. And so they did, back then, they did have it identified in there, the difference. To over 20 feet, they had to have a building permit. So,
Sounds like we ought to get rid of J. Take the shipping containers out of J and put them in F, section F. And stipulate the 200 square feet. Instead of the 20 by 20.
So F would say accessory buildings, and then in parentheses, it could say including shipping containers, carton, need to be 20 feet,
No, 200 square feet.
200 square feet or
yeah.
less, and must meet the same color and style.
Yes. Well, shall be constructed of similar
Yeah.
materials and color and architectural design.
Or should we say finished? To be. Because it doesn't matter if it's still in the stuff.
But you can paint it.
But some of the confusion comes in right now with what all that means and, you know, can they put siding on it, it's okay? If their house is stucco, does it matter that much? Those are just the kind of things I'd like to have nailed down a little bit more. Because if you're okay with it just being painted, then let's just say it. Has to be painted if it's 20 feet long. If it matches similar color, I won't want to say matching, but similar color as the house. So if their house is beige, it should be beige, you know, give or take a couple of shades. In other words, we don't want them to put fresh paint on it and it's, you know, bright blue and our house is beige. That would, you know, that kind of thing is what we're, some of the feedback we've gotten has said that, but if you want it stucco, then their house is stucco. And what does architecturally mean? Does that mean your house has a pitched roof, so it should have a pitched roof, or is a flat roof okay? You know, that's the kind of stuff that's, I think, is ambiguous. And this doesn't have to be done today as much as start the conversation and, you know.
They could put
where-
a fake roof on top.
I know that, but see, the argument with that would be is if you have someone in here, they're gonna say that, that's, a burdensome reason they're doing the shipping container because it's the $3,000 storage and it's, you know.
You just really look out of place, red on,
You're not gonna find the argument for me, that's for sure.
Well, that really.
I'm just saying that it would be nice if we had the ordinance itself tightened up, whatever it is you guys decide is appropriate, and then we can have a public hearing on it, we'll see what the people say about it. But, those are some of the issues that have popped up where people have been told it has to have a pitched roof on it, for example, because your roof is pitched roof. And I don't know that that's right or wrong, I'm just want to bring it up, so if we're gonna tighten it up, let's tighten it up and just say that, no, the flat roof's okay if there's stucco in it. You know,
On any
and
sides?
and it matches their house, or, I don't know,
can you
I'm not.
stucco a container?
And I'm not trying to put words in your mouth as much as just have you identify what you wanna have. So, I'm just giving you.
That's defeating the purpose why people are getting them, because they're cheap.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think full of shit.
That's to look cheap.
But I think it should be the same, similar in color.
Well, what about here, 200?
Yeah, Rich Cop, 1193 East Big Pinion. So what would happen with the people that have the 40 footers right now? Would they have to pull a permit?
They already do. Even today, they have to.
Yeah,
That's 300
they should have
square
already.
feet, they have to.
Yeah.
But there's some that, haven't done that, you know, we'll have to discuss what we're gonna do about that.
So what if those that are 200 feet that don't require a building permit are required to be a similar color to the house? And then we impose greater restrictions on anything over 200 where they have to get the building permit, or a permit to move it on.
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah.
Well, what if you have the two, like Mark Bateman has two of the 20 footers together, they're separated 10 feet.
So then, you're actually at 40 feet.
He has them tied together? or-
No, he's now separated by 10 feet. So he's got two of them together. I mean, two of them on the lot, so theoretically, it's, they're two 20-footers, but it equals 40 feet.
Two accessory buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like two,
Well,
yeah.
If they're less than 200 feet, they're not accessory buildings, are they?
Less than 200 each.
Yeah.
It's
Like all.
160 feet. 160 and
You
160.
don't have to have,
I'm just,
that's all allowed, the way I've read it.
Yeah. but
I should,
think
I'm
we
not saying it should be,
But I think we should require that the color is similar.
you might want to take that into consideration, that, you know, people might be bringing in two 20-footers to equal the 40-footers.
but, right.
Just a thought.
It could be like when we're heading down into Hurricane and you have the one house that's using them all, it's a fence around.
Yeah,
the
I
house.
The Utah.
Yes.
Concerning number of shipping containers, what's stopping them bringing in 4, 5, 6, and 7 of them? It says in the code right here, maximum of one accessory building, and you would consider an accessory building, the shipping container. One accessory dwelling unit for an owner or employee may be established on each individual separate lot. So you're only allowed, I believe, and then looking at the code again, some people are putting those shipping containers in the front of their yard. We have them in our area. They need to be in back, and there
Yeah.
should only be one accessory building.
And that's in the code. that it
That's
has
in the
to be-
code.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Well, I'm fine with limiting it to a 200 square foot thing and having it match in color, so it blends nicely. I mean, that, and then having them, they have to get the permit to do something different. I mean, that seems like a decent compromise. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting rid of the 40-foot ones entirely, but if they have to at least get a permit, that might at least keep them responsible for it. But,
If you,
Yeah,
if you do that, you know, you would just, then through the permitting process, you can make sure that it meets any other codes that you have specific for those larger units. So then you would need to, and then probably add code to what specifications they need to meet for that unit over the 20-foot size.
yeah.
Well, anything over 20 foot probably have to be close to match the house.
Mhm.
So it's more like a regular building than a container.
Yeah. Let's just have a
And
long
we
middle
should state
street.
the code that you're not allowed in the front yard.
Well, I mean, I guess we can kind of what if this all day. I mean, what do we want to do to prepare for the hearing for it? Because we can kind of decide what we're wanting it to do for the hearing to discuss, and then I'm sure people will have all kinds of feedback for us at the hearing. And so are we still thinking of kind of combining J with F? I mean, about streamline it?
Streamline it a little
Well,
bit.
I think if we get started, to me, when it says architectural similarity, whatever it says, that means something to me. It doesn't- Architectural similar, what does it say?
It says, and be an architectural style designed to blend with the primary building.
Yeah, so you wouldn't necessarily have to.
It doesn't have to be a copy,
Yeah.
but
Exactly.
it should look like it goes.
Right.
It belongs.
Yeah.
Don't shipping containers.
Well, if we just put in there accessory building including containers
Including.
under 200 square foot on F,
Yes,
that would cover that.
Yeah.
And then as for the J, we could adjust the shipping containers larger than 200 square feet will require a building permit.
period. Okay.
Okay, and meet all requirements of F.
Just the house.
Well, yeah, you can say that, but there's other requirements they have to meet too.
Such as,
Just, you could put as a minimum needs to be no requirement.
Yeah.
As removed, and then,
No stormwater, runoff, no water, permanent dwelling unit, no meters, connections.
I guess it needs to meet all requirements, the building permit needs to meet all requirements of this section.
Yes.
So we're striking no shipping, no, on no shipping. On J, right?
Yeah, and so we can say, like what, shipping containers, car containers, shipping crates, box cars, similar consumer objects should be used as accessory building, or, any, like what?
Any of those above 200 square feet,
Above 200.
any piece of equipment used as takeout shall be used as an accessory building. Or any international equipment put over 200 square feet. And then to be used as an accessory building.
Will require a permit.
Will require a permit and must meet requirements of this section.
Yes.
Of that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Did you get that?
Can you say it for me
Okay,
again?
say it how you.
Let me finish writing it first.
Can I ask one question? Supposing somebody moves into a house, right, and the shipping container's there already, they might not have, the people, the previous owner might not have, pulled a permit or whatever, now this person moved in and there it is. Is
Yeah,
that
and I know that
non-conforming?
sometimes that grandfathering works with the house, like the primary
Right.
residence, but I don't know if that works with an accessory building.
Hmm.
I don't,
Yeah, I'm just curious.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't think you could really do much about it.
Yeah.
So it's not conforming then?
It's probably a
You're gonna
question
get
for
into
Sean.
legal slow
Yeah.
somewhere along the way.
So if it's there, somebody buys the house, it's, yeah, okay.
Hopefully they have enough sense to.
And hopefully they just decide they think it's ugly and don't wanna have it.
Yeah.
Right.
May I respond to that?
Sure.
It's buyer beware, and when you move in, and I've run into a number of people that don't even believe Apple Valley has a code. And we've had to tell them that there is a code, you need to read it. If they move in and there's a violation at the house, you either have your realtor or you do your delivery, you actually read the code of the town and be familiar to see if there's any violations before you buy a property. Because you may buy something that is opening a can of worms.
But if nobody's ever told them it's a violation.
No, you're supposed to read that just like a number of other things. People don't realize that. I've had people come in here and say, gee, what can we do? I'm sure sorry I didn't read your town code.
It's really
Do
long.
you wanna add something that says a maximum of one shipping container per person
I
or
think that's already
something?
imposed.
One shipping container per person.
Or one
It's one
accessory
accessory
building.
building, which is used
So a shed is considered an accessory building?
Yeah.
as part of the.
If it's bigger than 200 square feet.
That's what I'm saying, these are smaller, if they're under 20, then
So it
they're
means you can
smaller.
have more than one.
So you could have more than one.
Sure, let's put it.
So I'm just,
No, I mean, we can, might as well try and see if we get a whole lot of pushback with it,
Yeah,
but.
yeah, they do, yeah. You were going.
I see your concept for it, and put half a dozen of them out there if you wanted.
Besides your front yard.
200 square feet.
What to do with my house?
But Jenga.
Yeah, exactly. It's a Jenga house.
Jenga.
Okay. So, when is the earliest we could have this hearing?
We have to do a 14-day notice, so
So,
it wouldn't be
a month.
until a month from
Okay.
now.
So do we have to make a motion for that, or can we just say, let's make the hearing?
Yeah, whatever, either way, fine.
Yeah.
I got a question about the auxiliary buildings. You're just talking about shipping containers at this point, right? But what constitutes an auxiliary building? It's a building that is built on your property, correct?
Well, there's a whole section in the code about them, but yeah, I mean, there's certain stipulations they have to
Right.
have, but yeah, it's an
Building.
extra building for some purpose on your property.
Are you gonna lump them into having them stuck with your house as well and conform to the structure of your house?
They already are, so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Code already says that right now. Yeah.
Now,
That's,
if,
that's over 200 square feet. Less than that can be, you know, a garden shed.
if you have agricultural zoning, it may be a little different.
Yeah, it even says except for agricultural use accessory buildings.
I don't know if you do or not.
So if you have a metal building for horses, that's okay, yeah, that kind of thing, it's, but if you're gonna build a second garage, you know, garage door opener, all that, it's supposed to be architecturally neat, match that house, and that's been on the code for a long time.
Home Depot shed.
Yeah, Home Depot said it's less than 200 feet, you know, that's
So it would
okay.
be the-
Drop-in kind of shed, or
So
smaller,
what's the date?
those are okay.
Yeah, what's the date for that?
It will be, let me look.
The
The 25th.
25th, really, yeah. I'll let you talk about the next meeting.
So we can't keep it casual, we don't necessarily need to do a motion? Okay. Alright, so then the next item is the outdoor lighting one.
I think we ought to adopt it.
The next guy one, or what?
Yeah.
My thought was that we should just adopt the MLO as, accepted practice and refer to it for new construction and remodel.
From the night sky or dog order?
Yeah.
Yeah, the model lighting ordinance. I don't think we need to rewrite it, I'm smart work side. It seemed to cover almost everything.
That was written kind of weird. I didn't understand why they had two sides of that. Did you guys figure
I
that out?
think it depends on municipalities, some people are larger.
I mean, I guess the impression was, is here's the code and here's the interpretation of the code, is what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Is that
I
how
think
you
they're
took
just
it?
trying to explain it better on the sidebar,
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
okay.
But
And you want to adopt that as part of it, or just code itself?
As a reference material for the lighting, and then people can use this to do what they need to do.
Okay.
I like that.
Otherwise, you're gonna end up rewriting the whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There's no reason for that, I don't think.
no reason to reinvent the wheel.
no.
One question, please. So what does it say about spotlights in what you're reading there?
You wanna read it?
Yeah, I would like to. Yeah,
About 40
Debbie has
pages.
it.
Some light,
No spotlight.
lighting.
Oh, no spotlights?
Yep,
Nothing to cross the horizon?
right, it has to be
Right.
downward facing.
Okay,
You can't literally see the light.
regardless of
It has
wattage?
to be down.
Yes, all right, great.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
That's it for all.
And you guys are gonna put like a chart in there that, like, if you have a 40-watt light, it's this many lumens.
Lumens.
Yeah,
Lumen.
yeah, as long as, you know, so people can understand what you're talking about. 'cause-
Yeah, I had to go and.
I did too.
and find it out myself,
So
because I didn't understand.
just wanna, you know, because a lot of people don't know what
Yeah.
we're talking
There
about.
actually is a chart in here.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's all included with the manual, and I think we just make a note that these are available in town office, and we have 4 or 5 copies.
And you got pictures of like the lights that they can have good, because that is really helpful.
Yeah, it has.
Examples and
It has the good ones and the bad ones.
Aluminum, but they're not.
Well, we have those
Yeah, it's like good.
I mean,
Yes.
What if you have like, are you guys gonna address if you have like a motion detector in that new code?
They're covered in there as well.
It is?
Ground lighting, all that stuff, yeah. Solar, ground lighting, everything.
I can't hear you. I'm getting old and
Sorry.
Marty's talking.
I know, people asking questions, I'm sorry.
Okay, what?
Here, you wanna look at it?
No.
Come on. Don't be afraid.
You know your
So you
master
guys talking about
research.
just adopting that document as
Okay, let me take that equals mine.
As our lighting ordinance.
that document as our ordinance.
Yeah, I mean, if we can do that.
As a, yeah, or as a reference.
Okay, this is, so we need to have a public hearing on this also, or?
Yeah, we'll do all that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we were looking at that.
So let's schedule that at the same time.
Yeah, they're emergency or.
Did I have track lights all around my backyard on my patio, but it comes on when.
But for wanting this code number in our code,
Yeah.
let's make sure, this might be,
I have 4.
that might explain it more, but we just can't, contradict each other. We have to
Right.
make sure that
Right,
this is
we'll have to,
looser than
we'll have
that.
to take this and look at that.
Cross-reference and make sure
And
everything
if
lines.
that all lines up, then.
What we should probably do before the hearing, since we have a month, is look at that command more closely and make notes on
Well,
this
you
to see if
can
there's.
assign one of us to do it.
Well, it's sometimes good just to get a few eyes to look at something, catch it more than just one.
Dark skies.
So you're saying look at the proposed new addition in relation to what we have?
Right, make sure there's no conflict.
Or are you just going to take the old one out and put the new one in?
Well, that's,
Well, maybe a little both.
The only thing I didn't like in there was the light posts. I'd like to see the short 3-foot in these planned developments, so the 3-foot, light up the sidewalk and the bike lane. Instead of 50-foot light posts. Because that's something they still had in there.
Well, we can write that into our.
Yeah.
so yeah, that's what I was wondering, if you wanted to kind of have ours that kind of breaks it down a little bit, than going through a big huge thing like that, but make sure that they align. But then if you want something stricter, like lowering the
Well,
poles,
that would
then.
be probably more specific.
Well, you've gone out to Kiala, and you've seen
Uh-huh.
it.
Yeah, it's good.
Beautiful up there, with those small lamp posts. And you can still see everything on the sidewalk and on the bike lane. And it doesn't interfere with your driving.
So we'll do a little cross-reference. Notation. But yeah, one thing to look at now is shorter.
So I'd like to list the light poles. 3 poles.
Are you raising your, yeah?
Just a little clarification because of what I do. How do I put this? It needs to stop here is the problem. If you drive out to Cedar Point, you'll see a lot of downlights out there that are really nice and done right. If people come to plans here, and I've got a problem over there, and they have floodlights of that nature, it would help. It says here, adopted on 2019-09 to 6/12/2019. It's also in the older code. When they bring in a plans for you to approve them, that's when to solve the problem. Because what happens when somebody buys a house and they have a down or a floodlight that's going down, and then somebody else buys it, and we have a situation out there, they don't realize that they can't take their flood and spot it in any direction. So when they come here, it says here in the plans indicating the location of the premises of the type of luminous fixtures. So you get to look at the luminous fixture. This is under section 1026-060 new subdivision construction. Not only that, you'll be able to look at the luminous of that fixture when they come and have the set of plans approved. So you could stop it here. Fixtures, lamps, supports, reflectors, and other devices. Reflectors means that I can see the little cabinet lights out there, and they're gonna put reflectors on that. But if they would've came here and you would've told them they needed reflectors, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And then if you read into the next section, it's a description of the luminous device. It's actually telling you guys to look at the fixtures, see what they're putting in, and if there's any potential that it could be in a violation, then I've got a couple of them over there that are in violation, and one young lady came in today on another issue, and she has a big problem because they direct the lights at her. If you can stop the floodlights from happening as they bring in the plans and show you, then that would solve a lot of the problems, and we wouldn't have a future problem when you sell your house and you direct your floodlight at the neighbors. That's just, it's all in this section, and it does say devices, fixtures, lamp supports, reflectors. All other devices submitted may include catalog cuts by manufacturers and drawings. So it actually spells it out to you to solve the problem before it even gets out there in the field.
Right. That's the problem with the cabinets over here, is they didn't show the electrical.
They did, no, you're absolutely right.
Wouldn't that be the building inspector?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think the planning commission looks at that, I think that's
We
the
don't
building
do-
permit.
We don't
Yeah.
complain.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to look at it to stop it before it gets to a point where it's out there in the field.
That's our plan on our building permit process we're working on right now.
Yeah.
Is that we want to have their exterior lighting identified on the plans.
Exactly.
And the problem is like with the cabins, when it's at an angle like that, it ends up being like a headlight.
It does.
And then, you know, Frank Lenhart, for example, he's kind of bothered by it himself. He says, you look at his house, down on the highway, he has those in his eaves
Yeah.
that he thought would be hidden. They look like headlights because his house is up on a hill.
And we're up there looking at the, yeah.
And so there's all those situations where we gotta, you know, those lights in the eaves, we really gotta kind of curtail those because they almost turn into headlights,
You're right.
you know, based on angles.
Yeah, and the black,
Oh, we're gonna try to
Adobe,
identify that at the building process.
Yeah. That's when to stop it.
the black Adobe that you have out at Gooseberry,
Yeah.
its house is really lit up, but you can see it from the highway.
Yeah, it looks like the mothership is landing.
Yeah, it does.
Which house?
Wait till that A-frame turns their lights on.
Oh, yeah, that.
That one does look like the mothership's landing.
Which one? But which is the other one you're talking about?
The A-frame.
No, not the A-frame, the.
Which one were you talking about, Janet?
The
Out of our
black
area?
Adobe. The black Adobe house that's all the way at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the
yeah.
gray, okay.
Towards
The
the
Gilligan's
circle.
house.
Yeah.
I guess I don't see that, 'cause it's around.
So that's lit up.
When you're around the corner or coming down the road, boy, you just see, that's the only thing you see out there, just about.
Yeah, I do go around and talk to neighbors and ask them to be appreciative to other people and do turn their lights on or off, so I do try to do that.
Okay, and then we've talked to the guys at Tiny Cabins and,
Yeah. I actually talked to him at the last meeting and he said he's working on it.
Okay,
And
good.
so is Cynthia.
okay,
Yeah.
good.
Okay, so then we're gonna kind of make sure everything matches and that we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
We'll add to that. To the same.
lean towards keeping them both, you're saying, or keeping this one and.
Yeah, just adding
and
a
add the-
reference manual.
If they don't conflict.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah,
So, if you guys are gonna have a public hearing on this on the 25th, will you have some sort of a document together before that?
Yeah,
Before this?
we'll have it figured out by then.
I'm hoping a lot of this will work, we can just cross-reference with the other one and add to this if it needs to be, and then if they're wanting more information, they can look in the big dark size.
Could you
manual.
send this to us as a document we can comment on? Because this would help us more, this would input into
Somebody
it.
just do it back and forth.
Yeah,
Google Docs and share it with us all,
yeah.
and allow us to edit.
You're so good,
Okay, and the next one is the, parking requirements of private recreational vehicles in residential zones.
Okay, we went through this at our work meeting, and I think 120 days, I thought, when we were working this out with Frank, was 120 days for RV parks. I did not realize that it got put into our code as 20 days on residential property. It shouldn't be like that. We should have an amendment D, a 30-day online permit required for non-residents on private property for RV parking, side or rear when able.
Then what are we doing under C? Are we striking
We're
120?
striking,
That's a 30 day.
Well, we talked about allowing 10 days, 2 weeks.
I know, I heard it went from like 10 days back up to 120 days again.
yeah, no, it
So
should
that's
be
kind of all
that.
over the,
Everything in
Said
between.
30 days, and then you can renew it online by applying,
Yeah, I think they should be able to apply online for a permit, and this is just so that we know who's here and what's going on.
so for letter C, we're changing 120 to 30?
Yes.
And then,
Renewable online.
yeah, so we probably
Yeah.
don't need to come up with a D, we can probably just put a comma and
Yeah, we could.
renewable online. Okay.
So we're gonna,
Well, one thing, if you're gonna make it much more than 30 days, I would think you'd wanna say it's properly placed, whereas this other one doesn't really say that.
well, we talked about having it on the side or the rear of the yard. When,
In any case.
yes,
Okay, I didn't remember.
not in the front yard.
Okay, really not. like
And
you
I
said.
think a 30-day online permit
Sure to take it down.
is good, because then we know we kind of can keep track of what's going on, the office can keep track of what's going on.
So do we need to put something in there saying it has to be on the side or back?
Yes. Because my RV parking space is right in my front yard, and it shouldn't be.
Or
May be
say,
located, or parked in the rear yard, or, so, cause, okay, it's an A.
you can just say properly placed as above.
Yeah.
Something like that. That's not too confusing.
Yeah.
Rear side yard, yeah, that's right, or screen from, I don't even like screen from front yards. From front yard.
How are you gonna get at it?
I don't know, we're not gonna be able to.
Park there, black bush in front of it.
We have so many people on my street that have done
Do we need even a third category for maybe a week, and you don't have to do the side or back?
that. I just,
The side or back says it can be in the front for unloading, but
yeah,
Because I can see a situation where somebody wants to stay for a week, but there isn't anywhere reasonable to put it, other than front.
48 hours is.
Now,
plenty.
that's their problem, not ours, but I'm just saying.
Okay, so instead of D, we just cross out greater than 100 days and 20 days, and put 30-day permit required, non-resident on private property for RV parking.
we could even start it with a properly placed recreational vehicle, maybe occupied,
That's good.
Okay, that way we don't have to.
Yeah.
Per calendar year?
30-day renewable permit, and the office is gonna be aware of what's going on.
So
Apply for
I
it.
suppose
30
they
days
keep
from
on
it,
renewing,
up to
but at least
120
we
days.
know that's what they're doing, and they'd have to
If
actually
it's
go
your family,
through
who's gonna
the
want them here
process.
for 120
Or be
days?
fine.
Well, I'm just trying to
figure out how it
Get
works
the
into the
paper
trail at least,
So
so
are they gonna
that,
like leave one day and come back the next day and do 30 days?
I'm sure if they renew it online, they could, but again, it would just kind of make it so we know
But
that
this way
they're.
we know who's doing this.
We can do one permit a year, or one permit is 6 months.
Yeah, but like you said, that it could be December or January.
No, not if I worded it.
Yeah, but still, it could be one per year, so at least it wouldn't be there more than 60
Yeah,
days.
yeah, and if you worded it right, you could make it 6 months after the expiration of the last permit or something, you know. Say what we want.
Just when we get the wording down, all right. I can see how this went all over last time.
It did.
So, I mean, if we want to limit how many times you can renew.
I think we need to do.
I think someone pointed out too, I'm not sure there's a municipality that even allows it to happen anywhere, just so you know. You know, not suggesting we do that as much as.
I just think it's really good that the office knows what's going on, they can inform you,
Right, totally
and we
agree.
can keep track of these things.
So, communities like Kirk, I don't think they'd allow it at all.
We can't rent them out.
But we could limit it too, I mean, I don't know what everyone's thinking about it, yeah.
What do you think, Mark?
How often can they renew the permit?
Well,
That's
that-
what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
It's not specified at this point,
Yeah.
so I guess,
So you can hear.
I can't because of this thing.
I'd say something like 2 permits a year.
Yeah, that sounds.
Oh. Per calendar year. There again, then you get 120 days.
I used to do 365 days, just curious.
Yeah, you could say
Don't do
that.
it a calendar
Yeah,
year,
you could say
you
that.
know.
That's where I was trying to get to.
Because 120 days was supposed to be for RV
Right.
parks, not
Right.
for residential areas.
I don't think there was a limit on RV parks, I think they could stay there year round if they wanted to.
I thought it was 180, but I haven't read it in a long time.
Because it's an RV park,
Yeah.
for, so that's why.
Oh, fun for us, we went through that with Frank for months.
I know we did, but I thought it ended up 180, I don't know. I haven't read it.
You were helping him even.
He was beyond.
Well, I think the reason we were kind of going back and forth even back in those days was that it was always these scenarios that people would bring up, like if you have families staying with you
Grandma's
because they're,
sick,
yeah, grandma's
yeah,
sick
whatever.
and caretaker, they don't have room in the house. So that's why it ended up being, you know, stretching out further and further for the what if, just in case scenarios.
Well, I think.
Which I guess if that was the case, they could maybe, you know,
Ask for a
make an appeal or
special-
something.
Yes.
Because
Ask
the exceptions to the rule, we shouldn't be ruled by the exceptions to the rule instead of the rule itself.
for- Right.
That's an English teacher talking. Right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I have to write that one down.
I don't know.
You can just make it.
Sometimes these things pop in and I don't know what I mean, you said, but.
Send that to Sean.
Well, I think, yeah, we need to have some limits.
And in that way, if they have a special
Should be-
case,
could be there.
They can come before the council.
They
Yeah.
can come
Yeah.
right, somebody
Because
should.
we're not made of stone. Well, so what's reasonable?
Let's say, the absence will be granted on an individual basis.
Yeah, we got that to the end.
You know, just so, just general terms, say no, not against anything, you can say no, but that's just what we want to do.
So we could say, because you have the wording that we renewed for an additional 30 days online
Yes,
and up to
you can renew twice.
Yeah.
Twice?
Twice, I think it's twice.
per calendar
Unless they
year.
come talk to somebody and say.
Twice per calendar year? Wait,
Twice
you
per
can renew, you can
365
renew
days.
twice?
No,
Yes.
no.
No,
One
you
renewal, one
can renew, you get your initial and then you get your renewal.
So
Okay, that's one renewal.
One,
Yes.
right.
Renew online, that's 60 days.
Yeah,
So it'd be 60
so,
days.
yeah, you renew twice, that's,
That's 90.
yeah.
60 days out of 365, is that what you said?
Yeah, so, which can be renewed once,
Yes,
online,
yes.
and then it can just
At
be
no
noted
charge.
after,
At no charge.
Let's maybe come to the office, so that way we got,
Yeah.
there might be a fee associated with it. you know.
I would say online or at the city office.
Online or,
Or just
make it be on
have
campus.
on your
Just for paperwork.
So they can come in if
Okay.
they want.
$25 or something, I'm not talking about it. Just-
Well, that's what I was saying last time, it's a little small fee, $10, $20.
Yeah.
The nuisance fee.
Yeah.
Yeah, just,
Well, we gotta track this stuff, so.
Michelle's gotta do the paperwork and blah, blah, and so.
She's like,
She's gonna make that.
something else to
You
do.
can have the $10.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
Okay, we're doing this on a commission basis.
Okay.
Okay, and the only exception to this should be when someone is building their home.
There is an
And that's
exception.
Okay,
Or-
there
Yeah.
is.
That's already built in.
In there, somewhere else, I don't know where.
Yeah.
Because then you have a year to get your house done.
Right. But I think there's even a six-month extension on
Yeah,
that.
it's 6
Yeah.
months, it's 6 months.
I'd have to look at it. But yeah, that's different.
Because I had to live in my RV when I was building my home. I know.
Okay, so, yeah,
Just to clarify what I do. So writing this up as a code enforcer, I wanna make sure I'm okay with what's going on. Maybe I've been doing it wrong. I wrote some people up that had lived in their RV, and they did answer the town in a respectable way. And we addressed it back to them saying they lost their job, my father's sick, things of that nature, but they did say they were gonna move out after 120 days as the code is written. My problem is, I could've wrote them up for having that fifth wheeler parked in their front yard. That's the way I wrote it up. But now, I'm saying if I see a fifth wheeler and somebody's living in and there's power, lights, water, like they always have, I can write them up if they're in the front yard, because any fifth wheeler or recreation vehicle should be on the side yard or in the back, even if they're living in there for the 30 days with a permit.
Right.
Is that what I need to do?
Yeah, but that's in here.
And that's in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't done that on a couple people, but now I need to watch that I can write anybody up that has a
Get you a new
50
pad.
in the front yard. But the problem is, there is people not too far from here that have their RV covered right in the front yard, already installed with an RV under it. I don't know about what to do about those people. There's nobody living in it.
Some people don't have
But they're
backyards.
storing it in the front yard with an RV cover.
Yeah.
So that's a violation I've left alone, but the other violations I will look for now is an RV that is parked in the front, whether they're living in it or not.
Yeah.
And then it should be, and in most cases, I'll just let them know friendly, because they don't realize that that is a problem.
Yeah.
But it is in here
It
that
is
the
in
RV
here.
has to be parked on the side or in the back.
Or screen.
and if they want to make their case and appeal, they can come in and talk to people.
Yeah,
you know,
in my
if
case,
they don't
I-
have a side or backyard or
Yeah,
something like
and I
that.
always say to go to the town and have them explain it to them. Even if I write out a violation notice, I will not write out the definition, I will go to the town and let them explain it to you rather than me. Because even myself was in violation. I sold the fifth wheeler, the camper that was parked on the side, and that's in violation. If anybody should be out of violation, it's me, so I did sell it just to make that number.
So we can add this to the same hearing, I guess? Okay.
Okay.
It might be a long meeting.
Okay.
Well, if it gets to be too crazy, we'll,
We'll table it.
yep.
We'll table it if it gets too bad, but
We
this
don't have to
is
do
one
that.
we should take care of.
What is the highest priority? That's pretty much what I was gonna say.
I'd say the lighting.
I like.
Lighting and shipping containers would be.
Well, we'll do it all.
We'll just do it all.
We'll just do it all, we'll bring cake.
You bring cake.
Bring
caffeine.
Bring caffeine.
Yeah, yeah.
Bring bourbon.
You said it, not me, but I was thinking it. All right, so then
Bourbon and
next,
honey.
we have, yeah. We have, the general plan legend and definition.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Going back to C, we were supposed to tweak out the parking requirements, not allowing commercial vehicles on the road. We had that situation in Cedar Point where we had a,
Commercial trailer.
yes.
Tractor trailer.
That
I
was
couldn't
there.
There's
find-
nothing in our code, but I don't think
I
it's the right
couldn't
place
find it in
for
our
it.
code
Yeah,
for
this,
it.
this doesn't seem quite right place.
I don't think it's the right place for it, but it's
Just
something we
because
need to
it
address.
specifies private recreational vehicles in the title.
We're trying to find a code where that belongs.
Yeah, okay.
Add it to it.
Because,
I would
yeah,
like
I
to
agree.
address it, though, for sure.
I agree, because
Okay.
nobody should have any commercial tractor trailer parked on
Right.
residential roads.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is where we were looking at defining what density is which and all that? Is that what we were doing?
You guys did this without me, so I don't know what you did.
At the work meeting, we did 1/4 to 1 acre is high density, 1 through 5 is medium, and 5 and above is low.
Okay, I don't want 1 acre with high density. It can be
Okay.
up to 1 acre.
Up to 1 acre.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what you meant to say.
Oh, okay, I'm just saying, we need to.
It doesn't include 1 acre, not 1 acre, so, for specifics.
Up to, so, up to 1 acre,
Okay.
or under 1 acre?
4999999.
Under 1 acre, there we go, yeah. .9999999.
No, yeah, see if,
Under 1
Well, most
acre.
of the lots that are selling in high density areas are 1/3 to 1/2.
Yeah,
1/4,
which is why I
1/3
don't
and
want-
1/2.
I want our neighborhood to still say 1 acre.
So maybe we should say 1/4 to 1/2 acre as high density.
Or just up to
Well,
1
that-
acre,
yeah,
because what if somebody does a townhome?
Yeah.
Yeah, some lots aren't a whole acre.
Yeah.
2.9999.
But if we say up to an acre.
Well, we got 1 acre through 5 acres. is
Well, I don't want an
medium.
acre or less, it needs to be less than. Once we hit that 1 mark, it's gonna be medium density.
Okay,
So that's why I have under 1 acre.
under 1 acre. Okay.
High density?
so some people end up
Yeah.
with a .98 or something, and I would think that if you wanna
And if it's
classify 1 acre
surrounded by
lot.
all just at least 1 acres, then.
Well, what I was getting at is that, you know, maybe we pick a different number, like, you know, .80 or .90 or .85 or, because sometimes
0.85
some
sounds
people will
good.
have just like, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 tenths under 1 acre, and we still call it a 1 acre lot, but,
Yeah, my
Because
lot
you're
is
trying to include-
1.05 acres.
So you're
Yours is
medium
what?
density.
0.05.
1.05.
Yeah, mine's 1.75.
yeah.
So I, 85
Anyway.
sounds good, 0.85.
Maybe just say less than 1 acre, and
I
then,
think
Yeah.
one-
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
under
I
1
like less
acre.
than 1 acre.
Because if you go .98, then the guy with
Right.
.99 is gonna come in and.
Well,
do
yeah,
it.
because he doesn't fit anything.
It could be again, it'd be a case by case thing. We can just kind of do a general outline, and then
So-
people can, so under 1 acre, high density,
Yes,
and then 1 to
less than
5.
5,
Well,
less than, less
Less
than,
less than
five.
5,
under 5,
Yeah.
less than 5.
medium. And then 5 plus,
Over 5.
Low.
Or 5 plus,
Yeah.
yeah.
or low density, yeah.
5 plus. Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty good breakdown.
so on the, if you're gonna do a public hearing on that, as part of it, could we, do a public hearing on the map? And, we have, well, we probably have more work to do.
Yes, we do.
We have those R1 acres and things like that, we wanna assign them if they're gonna be low, medium, or high density.
Well, we
as
need
well.
to change, really need to change this map.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, is that this is a precursor to deciding what that map should be, and then we can update the map with the new general
We just
map,
need-
to match these.
You need this legend to get going with
And
it.
get rid of the R1s and all that, you know.
Yeah, so R1 would be medium density instead.
Or, yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And R1/2 would be high density
Right,
instead.
Right.
So it's just making sure what we're calling them is what they're labeled on the map and match the color code.
And you wouldn't have the RMed and the.
Yeah.
RPD.
Yeah. What's medium and what's half acre?
What is that?
We do have the PUD and.
Yeah, that'll stay, I think, 'cause
Well,
that's
we've
something
been
else.
calling it just a PD, which is arguably the same thing, but. if we're
Well, that
calling it
plan
one-
development,
Yeah,
yeah.
couldn't we just change that?
So it's
Yeah,
just PD?
PD.
Yeah,
Keep it consistent.
but we'd have to do all this at a hearing when we get it all organized.
Right.
I think this is something we can leave off the next hearing. We can work on this more.
Yeah.
But I think at least defining what high, medium, and low density is acreage wise is a good start.
Right,
Okay.
but it's the same thing, so I'm saying, at least in my mind, PUD and PD's.
What does the U stand for?
Planned unit development.
But since our ordinance,
And so you don't have to print this again, we promise to offer in ours next time.
since our ordinance calls it PD, I just think we ought to call it PD.
I think we talked about doing that at one point anyway,
Mhm.
so I think that's all right.
I don't have a problem with that. Means the same
See,
thing.
on this map, it says area outlined in downtown should be, they don't have.
Right, that's,
Yeah, then what's that line in black?
this little part here, it
PD.
was voted,
So
be
we-
changed to that.
So we have 3 public hearings on the September 25th.
Well, this is something they've printed up here real recently.
Yeah, this is.
For our package.
2 meetings ago, I think.
Oh, okay. Good work.
25th, you said? 25th.
I don't know, if it was part of, yeah, see, it's part of this meeting too. But there's some other general plan changes we've made.
Okay.
Why we picked this one
You
up
don't
or
have
whatever.
Can I put that one?
And this.
We don't have a general plan map.
So no, I have this one, but I don't have the one that has
So
the
one,
add PD thing to it.
I'm sorry.
Where it says add PD plan development and it has a little note saying area outlined in black changed to PD. I guess my map doesn't say that.
Yeah, the one that I gave at the other meeting,
Oh,
I
okay.
included that map.
Oh.
And this one I just didn't.
Yeah,
But
that-
there's the other changes, it's just that this map is interactive, so it's difficult to do the changes on.
So she doesn't have to print this again, let's all bring it next time.
The general plan?
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's all hang on to this, so that we don't have to
That's,
print it again.
that's another thing we need to work someday.
Okay, so the lighting's gonna come to us in Google Docs, right? So that we can bounce off each other. And then the RVs, public hearing, accessory buildings, public hearing, and parking and recreational vehicles, public hearing.
And depending on how people feel, whatever they could want. Yeah.
The only other suggestion, we might someday end up with, townhomes, apartments.
We're going to across the street, Jessup Kings Camp Townhouses.
Well, they're PDs, so
Yeah,
that's kind of where that process goes.
but for HUD, we have to have a certain amount of these types of properties.
Yeah.
Well,
Not until we're
not until we're bigger.
about, I think, I can't remember, 4 or 5,000.
Yeah.
Then we have to.
We don't want to be that big.
Yeah, but that's what
Well-
we don't have to worry about that for
Don't hold your breath on that one.
It has out.
Yeah,
Okay, go away.
We've got nobody building anything right now.
but,
But it still helps to be there.
would it be
Be
good
ready
to put
when we are.
multifamily or something somewhere? Or do we care, or?
I don't care, yeah,
It can all go in one density.
Make it in her.
In high
Yeah, it can
density.
be called high density for now, and then if they're wanting to make it a PD or,
I'm sorry.
Condo, all that kind of.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if we ought to put a little water ball there or something.
we don't wanna give people ideas.
Yeah, okay, you're right. You're mine, you're right.
I agree. Leave it out.
We're all in agreement.
We're calling it general terms right now, high density.
They who lives with her is gonna say want to live in town.
Please, Ms. Clerk.
All right. So I think.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Third. Vote?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
All right.
Aye.
Aye, aye.
Thank you very much, Michelle.
we got a lot done. That was-
Yes.
Well,
And we'll all bring our Apple Valley general plan, so you don't have to do it.
that's good.